I've been studying quantum physics for 5 years and I find it fascinating. Today I want to share with you a technique called quantum jumping that can help you in virtually every aspect of your life, your career, relationships, your health. Quantum physics studies nature at a subatomic level. Whereas classical physics studies molecules and atoms, quantum physics studies subatomic particles that are way smaller than atoms, like electrons, quarks, and photons. These quantum systems behave very differently than classical systems. In classical systems, we can predict outcomes. In a game of pool, if we know a ball's trajectory and force, we can predict how it's going to interact with all the other balls. In quantum systems, we can't know with certainty where an electron is going to be at the time of measurement. Instead, we know how likely it is to be in one location or another. We might know that there's a 30% chance of finding it here and a 10% chance of finding it here, but we can't predict its exact location. We talk in terms of probabilities. This is known as the quantum wave function. This function tells us how likely it is for the electron to be found in different places. Some locations are more likely than others. It's 5 times more likely to be here than here, but it could be anywhere along this curve. However, it needs to be somewhere on this curve. It can't be here because this possibility doesn't exist in this wave function. In other words, the electron could be here or here, but not here. Okay, so why does this matter? How is this relevant to us? We humans are part of quantum systems and subjected to the same laws of quantum physics. The quantum wave function, or probability wave, applies to us too. Let's say someone is rude to you in traffic. How you respond to it depends on a number of different factors. If it's your birthday and your partner surprised you with breakfast in bed, you might just brush it off and not make a big deal of it. But if you just got in a fight with a coworker, you might have a completely different reaction. There are many different ways to respond to this situation. If it happens 100 times, you might have 100 different responses. However, it's likely that some responses are more common than others, based on your personality, your values, and what you're going through in life. Whether you tend to get riled up easily or you're generally a calm person, there's a quantum wave function that represents how you're likely to respond to a rude driver. Your quantum wave is different than mine and anybody else's. You might be more likely to be calm in that situation, whereas someone else might be more likely to respond with anger. All those possibilities exist in the quantum wave, but they have different probabilities. It's important to know that although the quantum wave includes many possibilities, it doesn't include all possibilities. The laws of physics still apply. You can't teleport from your car into the rude driver's car and slap him in the face. But how cool would that be? So, what's quantum jumping? Quantum jumping is the act of stacking the deck in our favor. It means manipulating the quantum wave by acting intentionally instead of being driven by our habits. It means increasing our probability of responding to situations in the most skillful way possible instead of having knee-jerk reactions based on years of habits and social conditioning. In the quantum wave, all possibilities exist as potential. All possibilities are equally real. Some are more probable than others, but they're all real. When you're dealing with sadness, anger, or anxiety, there's a version of you capable of being happy, content, and calm. When you're struggling financially, there's a version of you capable of achieving financial success. When you feel lonely, there's a version of you capable of loving and being loved. All those versions of you exist as possibilities. They exist as pure potential, even if they're not currently manifesting. There isn't a version of you that can fly, but there's a version of you who's happy, loved, and successful. Quantum jumping is activating the reality we want to create instead of being victims of our default behaviors. But how exactly do we do this? We need to understand that quantum field is an energetic field. It's a field of information, not a physical field. It gives rise to matter, but it comes before matter. Energy comes first and matter is derived from it. In other words, energy creates our reality. Our emotions shape our physical existence. When we're stressed out, our chest feels tight. When we're scared, our heartbeat spikes. We tend to believe that the external reality dictates how we feel, but it's actually the other way around. When we feel a certain emotion and hold on to it, we create a state of being. That state of being then dictates the stories we tell ourselves and the actions we take. Let me give you an example. I do a lot of public speaking, and I usually get pretty bad anxiety before getting on stage. So here's what I do. I close my eyes and evoke the emotion of confidence. I visualize myself walking on stage. I smile at people and they smile back. I pay attention to how well it feels to give that talk. After doing this for a while, my sense of confidence is much stronger and my anxiety is gone. Confidence and anxiety are always represented as possibilities in the wave function. But Through quantum jumping, we can skew the probabilities in our favor. When we change our emotional state, we change our energy's frequency. We make anxiety less likely and confidence more likely. Think of yourself as a radio receiver. There are so many frequencies in the air, and you can tune into any station you want. If you're not intentional about this, you'll end up tuning into one of your saved stations. But you have the power to tune into any frequency you want. All stations are available to you. You get to choose what frequency you turn into music, what possibility in your quantum wave becomes your reality. Look, I'm aware this sounds like new age woo-woo, and I totally get it if you're skeptical. All I have to say is this: there's no risk in trying this. Just try it and see for yourself if it works for you. Once you realize how easy it is to get yourself into a particular state of mind, I bet you'll use this technique all the time. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If that's the case, please click that like button because it really helps. If you have any questions or want to talk more about quantum jumping, you can find me on Instagram at MindHacksTV. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and here's another mind hack for you. I'm Zico Musio, and this is Mind Hacks TV. See you next week with a new mind hack.